Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the chances of the Celtics pulling off a potential historic comeback against the Heat. The Celtics were once down 3-0 in the series, but they have tied it up at 3-3 in this series with a Game 7 being played at their home floor. Right now, it seems likely that the Celtics will become the first team to win a series while being down 3-0 in NBA history. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. Will the Celtics complete a historic comeback against the Heat? And the answer to that question is yes, absolutely. The Boston Celtics are going to complete a historic comeback against the Heat. I got the Boston Celtics winning Game 7 as they will blow out the Heat comfortably. It might not be a 25 or 30 point blowout, but they're going to beat the Miami Heat comfortably. After seeing what I saw in Game 6 on Saturday night, there is no way that the Boston Celtics are going to go in this series and lose Game 7. If Derrick White is hitting a game-winning shot, that's a buzzer beater, by the way, on a tip-in shot because he out-muscled and out-rebounded Max Strus, that means the Boston Celtics going back to the NBA Finals is just destiny meant to happen. When you look at this Boston Celtics team, they have flipped a switch in this series. A team that was once on the verge of getting swept to an 8th seed has managed to rewrite their narrative and save their season. Why do I say that they've been able to save their season? Because you look at the fact that they've won games 4, 5, and 6 in comfortable fashion for the most part, with the exception of Game 6 coming down to the wire. But you look at this Boston Celtics team, they had yet to win 3 games in a row in the NBA playoffs, but they did exactly that in each of the last 3 games. They won 2 of those games by double digits. They beat the Miami Heat twice in their home floor. Now they get to go to Game 7 at home. And even though Boston is not a great team at home, what they are really good at is winning Game 7s. When you look at this Boston Celtics franchise, there is a reason why they do not lose a lot of Game 7s. When you put in Game 7s and Boston Celtics in the same sentence, they always seem to come out on the winning end more often than not. And that doesn't happen by coincidence. Whether it's been multiple coaches, whether it's been multiple GMs, whether it's been different decades, whether it's been in the past, whether it's been in the present, the Boston Celtics always find a way to come through in Game 7s more often than not. And with Game 7 at home, they're going to have the fans on their side. And the Boston fans are going to be loud, they're going to be obnoxious, and they're going to bring in the energy for the Boston Celtics. Look, the Boston Celtics also have the referees on their side for the most part. Yeah, you can say that the refs sometimes call fouls that they shouldn't, but honestly, the referees have been more beneficial to the Boston Celtics in this series than they have been to the Miami Heat. And I'm not trying to take away anything for the Boston Celtics. What they've done is absolutely incredible. I've been roasted and getting owned for my takes about the Boston Celtics in the last 3 games, and I gotta give a hand to the Boston Celtics, and I gotta say congrats, guys. Congrats for proving me wrong, and congrats for making me look like an idiot for doubting you at all. But you look at this Boston Celtics team, they showed resilience in Game 4. They won by 17 points. Credit to them. They won Game 5 by 13 points. Credit to them as well. They won Game 6 in a tight game. Credit to them. I said that they need several factors to go their way. They've gotten that. They've gotten production from Jayson Tatum. They've gotten production from Jaylen Brown. They've gotten production from Marcus Smart. They've gotten clutch play from Derrick White. And even though Derrick White only scored 11 points, the bucket that he scored was the most important shot that he made in the game. And that was the difference in winning the game and losing the game. Had the Boston Celtics not gotten that bucket from Derrick White late in the game, in fact, that was a buzzer beater shot, by the way, the Boston Celtics would have lost that series. But when you can knock down a shot like that, under that kind of pressure, and under those type of circumstances, it's just meant to be. When you look at this Boston Celtics team, they are playing with confidence, they are playing with swagger, and they're playing with the determination, knowing that, hey, we got this series in the bag. We're playing like the team that has been winning all the time. And honestly, you look at the Celtics team, you're probably wondering, how did they even fall behind 3-0 in the first place? And honestly, it's because they didn't play with the intensity that they're playing with right now. And you look at Joe Masula, man, I got to give Joe Masula a lot of props. I've been critical of Joe Masula in the NBA playoffs. I've been saying that Joe Masula is getting outcoached by Erik Spoelstra, but not now. Erik Spoelstra has been a great coach for the Miami Heat, don't get me wrong, but Erik Spoelstra has been getting outcoached by Joe Masula in the last 3 games. When you look at the adjustments that Joe Masula has made, it's been absolutely fantastic. And to put Derrick White on Jimmy Butler, that has been a godsend for the Boston Celtics. When Derrick White is guarding Jimmy Butler, good things happen for the Boston Celtics. And they've done a good job rotating the minutes between Al Horford and Robert Williams as well. So I got to give them tremendous credit for that as well. And also credit to the Boston Celtics for not just running the same plays over and over again. I've been critical of the Boston Celtics because of the fact that they keep running ISO plays for Jayson Tatum all game long, for Jaylen Brown all game long, and for standing around the three-point line and just chucking as many three-point shots as you can. But the Boston Celtics have adjusted their game plan. They're no longer doing that. They're getting the other guys involved. They're recognizing that just giving the ball to Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown is not going to win them a series against the Miami Heat. They recognize that let's go back to using Marcus Smart, okay, with the three-point line. We're going to go ahead and use Derrick White in the offense as well. We're going to go ahead and use Al Horford as our floor spacer and our rebounder and our switch defender. They recognize that Robert Williams needs to get more playing time. He's gotten more playing time indeed. And you look at the fact that they are relying on Grant Williams. Yeah, he only scored 1 point and he didn't really do a whole lot in Game 6, but what he did was bother Jimmy Butler. And speaking of Jimmy Butler was both the hero and the guy that costed the Miami Heat the game. Jimmy Butler played horrible for the first 46 minutes of the game, but once the last 2 or 3 minutes came on, Jimmy Butler went and played fantastic for the Miami Heat. But Jimmy Butler, for the most part, played really bad. I mean, a guy shoots 5 of 21 from the floor and he's supposedly your superstar. That cannot happen if you're the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler cannot be shooting the ball that poorly from the field. If that happens again in Game 7, the Miami Heat are going to get blown off the floor. And honestly, they were only in this game because Caleb Martin chipped in 21 points. Gabe Vincent chipped in 15 points as well. Duncan Robinson chipped in 13 points. And speaking of Duncan Robinson, he missed 2 wide open threes. You guys realize that if Duncan Robinson had just hit one of those 2 wide open threes, the Miami Heat would have came out victorious in Game 6. But the fact of the matter is, he missed those 2 wide open threes, which is really bad on his part because he's supposed to be a three-point specialist. When Duncan Robinson is in the game, he's got one job to do, which is to knock down three-point shots. And if he can't knock down wide open jumpers from the three-point line, then he's rendered useless on the floor. The Boston Celtics recognize that they got to target Duncan Robinson on the defensive end of the floor. And with that being said, that's why the Boston Celtics have been able to win each of the last 3 games, because they recognize that they need to be attacking Duncan Robinson on the defensive end of the floor, since Duncan Robinson is not a very good defender whatsoever. And the fact that they're even playing Cody Zeller minutes in the series, that's just absolutely disgusting for the Miami Heat to even be seeing. Cody Zeller, even though he's been solid for them, honestly at this point, Cody Zeller is not that guy that you need to be relying on for backup center minutes at this point in stage of the series, because Cody Zeller is not the kind of guy that can score points in an efficient manner and provide awesome defense. Look, he only played 2 minutes in Game 6 and he gave them 1 point and he was plus-minus differential of -7. That means he's not really a player that should be contributing on the floor whatsoever. With that being said, now you look at Game 7 and now you're thinking, okay, the Boston Celtics, they're at home and they're going to be able to be the first team to ever pull off a 3-0 comeback. And what's up with the city of Boston, man? The city of Boston gets to experience the biggest comebacks ever. You look at the NFL, the New England Patriots, they were down by 25 points in Super Bowl 51. Then they make that comeback against the Atlanta Falcons. Then the NBA, you look at what's happening right now, the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics were down 3-0 in this series. Now they're on the verge of making a huge comeback in this series and going back to the NBA Finals for the second time in the last 2 years, which is an incredible accomplishment in and of itself. Then there's the MLB with the Boston Red Sox. They made a huge comeback in the 2004 AL Championship Series. They were down 3-0 to the New York Yankees, and they made a huge comeback in MLB history. That was the biggest one ever. For a team to come back from down 3-0 in MLB history, that's just absolutely wild. The city of Boston got to experience that piece of history for that to happen. Then the NHL, they got the Boston Bruins, which is a hockey team in Boston, and they were the first team in NHL history to win Game 7 of a Stanley Cup playoff series after trailing by 3 goals in the 3rd period. They then go ahead and rally to defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-4 in overtime, and they end up winning the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series, which is just absolutely wild to just even think about. So the city of Boston gets to experience great comebacks. If they get in the NBA, that means they get the biggest comebacks ever in each of the 4 major American League sports, which is just absolutely insane to think about. I think the Boston Celtics go ahead and complete the quest of having each of the 4 American sport leagues to have great comebacks in the city of Boston. I got them winning Game 7 by the score of 108-96. They're going to win Game 7 comfortably. Jayson Tatum's going to have a good game. Jaylen Brown's going to chip in with some points as well. Marcus Smart and Derrick White are going to continue playing well for the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics will continue to play elite defense. As for the Miami Heat, I have no idea how they could possibly come back from that devastating of a loss. It's not the fact that they lost Game 6, but it's the way how they lost Game 6, and it's the fact that they've lost Games 4, 5, and 6. If you couldn't close out a game then, you're not going to close out a game now. I've picked the Miami Heat in each of the last 3 games, and they've proven me wrong. So now I'm not going to go ahead and pick the Miami Heat 4 straight times. I'm going to go ahead and say the Boston Celtics will win Game 7, and they're going to go back to the NBA Finals, and the Miami Heat are going to pull off an ultimate choke job, and it'll be the biggest choke job ever in NBA history. So that is why the Celtics will be able to complete a historic comeback against the Heat, as they will win Game 7 in convincing fashion. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and @SportsGuyTalking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.